everybody, and welcome to the fifth and for the moment final session of our Old Souls program, graduate program. And we've realized, sort of chatting to some of the participants and members over the time that we've been sharing together, that this is really an ongoing process, and that this is something that we can continue to deepen our development through to deepen our support network to enable us to fully show up and be present in the world, that we can actually work with each other to support that presence as opposed to perhaps the old soul tendency of isolating ourselves from others because we feel that we don't fit in. So, what we really want to do is build our strength. And keep that momentum going for the work that we've been doing. So, again, I invite you all to come and join us on the Facebook page because that's an opportunity to really connect with others of like mind. But what we really want to do is encourage resonance with the new energy and to continue strengthening that with within and with the group so that we can share that more strongly out there with and provide that awakening wave, that momentum and that awakening for others. Because after all, that's what we've been saying. That's what the old souls are actually here for, to align with the new energy, to bring that wisdom forward in their own unique way. So there's a great deal of work that we can still do as a team. So yes, I'm going to be looking at, first of all, we'll have a free video call that we'll put out and pull together for everybody, probably in 2 weeks' time. So think about your questions, any concerns that you may have, and we can open up a bit of a discussion group. And then we will look at a regular gathering, possibly on a once a month basis, that will give you something to work with in order to deepen that foundation. And we can do that as a team, as a group, as a strengthening body, a beautiful diamond soul. So I hope that appeals to you. And we will continue taking this forward because I also realized as I was pulling together some of the information for this particular session is that it, what we've done through these 5 gatherings is we've really only scratched the surface, but we've been able to ignite a new energy and a new fire. And that is also really interesting because at this moment in time, the fire energy is actually fueling new beginnings, new starts, new creativity. There is so much potential that is awakening, that is igniting within all of us. So I really do think it's a very exciting time to take this forward and to work with this group in a whole new way. So I look forward to that. So lovely, lovely comments there in the chat room. Everybody's so excited. So yes, I hope you will join us with the ongoing. Uh, I love that. Yeah, Laurie said, ignite a new energy, new fire, new beginnings, creating new realities. And that's absolutely what we are doing and what we are here for. So you will actually see, of course, this fire energy. If you think about the color of fire, the fire energy is one of gold and orange, and the color of flames is associated with the creative center, sort of between the sacral center and the navel. But those colors really fuel and help to align us with joy, and joy is that essence or energy that we want to be able to connect more easily with within ourselves in any moment, so that we can live our lives knowing that that is the bedrock. So the energies at the moment, and the fire energy is actually supporting us in reconnecting with what brings us joy, with what stimulates and fuels and supports our ability to connect with that is within us. So we're going to explore it from a few different angles. There's a couple of things I'm going to do with you today. Joy, acceptance, and surrender. And very, very often the joy aspect actually comes in with acceptance. Bonnie's actually put a comment in here. It's learning and leading, yes, in the new energy. So delighted to walk with everyone in the new energy. That's beautiful. And yes, what it is. Learning and leading. I like that expression, Bunny. Thanks for that. Um, so in our surrender to our higher self, in our acceptance of the fullness of our human nature and everything that makes us human. Okay, so here we have the merge between surrendering to higher self and spirit, and that meld or merge through the acceptance of our humanness, we are able to reconnect with the joy. So when we can't or we feel unable to connect with that, there is usually a filter or a veil or something that is preventing us from completing that total meld of spirit into physical form, spirit through our physical beingness. And that's usually emotional. It's usually an aspect of denial. It's something about ourselves that we are in denial of. And these are the kind of things, that I really work with because being in joy is our natural state, but joy is not really what we might think it is, okay, or how we may relate to it from our human perspective. And that's really what I want to explore. Okay. But before I go into any more of the slides, what I would like to do is to take you through another group balancing session. And this time we're going to work on 5 minutes per symbol. So I know a couple of you have had a couple of days gap, but it's so much more powerful when we are able to focus as a group. And I will time you for 5 minutes so that you will also have this video and you can use this as a 5 minute timer if you want for your balancing. But the thing is, with this particular one, is I want you to connect with the symbols. Remember that the symbols are a progression through the movements of spirit in creation and in creating. Okay, so the circle through to the cross, through to the triangle, which is the first three-dimensional form that encapsulates light. We're going through a creation process. So when we work with the symbols, we are creating new neurons in our brain. So what I would like you to do with this particular session now is to focus on the symbols with the intention that you connect with that universal force, with the divine force, in order to um, stimulate or bring in the knowing and connect you with that ultimate spiritual essence of joy through the creation process. Does that make sense? So it's the spiritual force that represents joy. So without giving you anything else in respect of influencing your thought patterns. That's why I don't want to do any other slides yet. I want you to be within this symbol focus process, asking to know, understand, and connect with the flow of joy in your being. And let's see what comes up for you. Let's see what is stimulated within your physical body, what words, what images, what senses, what definitions, if you like, are brought up for you personally. How's that, guys? Oh my goodness, has everybody gone quiet on me in the chat room again? Okay, right. Okay, that's great. So let's see, because I've got some words and synonyms and definitions, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of discussion with it after we've done the symbols, but I want you're just preparing. Okay, good. That's what I want you to do when you're focusing, and I am going to time you. Okay, so I just want you to rest with the symbol. So take a deep breath, make sure that you're comfortable. And here we have the first balancing symbol. So allow your eyes to gently rest, taking in the whole symbol. Soften your gaze. Notice how much more easily or not you are able to hold the light that is generated by the symbol in the center. Okay, everybody, close your eyes. Hold the image of that negative in your mind's eye. Notice what color it is, how strong it is. Just hold. Be aware of the light moving within your brain. Connect with what may be going on inside of you. And now open your eyes and focus on the symbol. As you recognize that you are creating the framework of your being, reestablishing the blueprint of your whole and divine essence that is bathed in joy. Okay, close your eyes, hold the image, and open your eyes, and let's do the third. Okay, close your eyes. Hold the image. And welcome back. So, what attributes, what did you connect with during that, if anything at all? It's almost a contemplation of what joy is. Because I had a few words that came up there, and I thought that was just really pertinent. Oh, lovely. Laurie says, the circle. I got a sudden message. Home. Beautiful. That joy equals home. Rewired in brain in all. Joy is seeing beauty in all. Yes. There was a lighting up of the synapses of the brain. Well done, guys. Me too, Laurie. Laurie also got the message home. Sorry, Natalie got. Awesome. Or awesome, as you guys would say. I was taught that the last time I was in the US. It's not awesome, it's awesome. That's awesome. Strong feeling. Oh, brilliant. Believe in yourself. Wonderful. Oh, you guys, brilliant, brilliant. You're getting it. A flow of energy, sometimes wildly, sometimes steady, sometimes outward, sometimes inward. Now, that is just what you guys have just connected with is just fabulous for where I wanted to take this. Because, I mean, don't you just love it when things like fall into place? Joy, as we tend to relate to it, is sort of from a human perspective, tends to be associated with this external exuberance, this external expressiveness and expression of happiness. So it tends to be sort of very almost an outward flow of energy from an inward state of being. Okay, which it is. Everything really initiates within us anyway. However, it is seen as being an exuberant posture through our body language and through our behavior and all of the rest of it, but highly charged and highly energized and laughter and happiness, etc., etc. What if joy was a quiet state that we could simply access purely by being? Rather than, because to be in this state where you're bouncing around and bouncing off the walls can actually be a bit exhausting. And that tends to be the way that most people relate to what joy is. And this is, let's have a look at the typical definition. Joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness, which is great. Okay, and here we get, even tears of joy. Other words that, yeah, that's it, Rachel. And that's exactly the way that it's often portrayed out there. And that's what I just wanted you guys to connect with. So it's one of those things that you constantly search for, something others seem to have and not me. Yes, absolutely. And it's often seen as that outward, kind of bouncing around liveliness. So it's seen as happiness. Look at this. It's delight. It's great pleasure. It's joyfulness, jubilation, triumph, as in victory, exaltation, rejoicing, happiness, gladness, glee, ebullience, exuberance, elation, euphoria, bliss, ecstasy. As everybody says, like, find your bliss, seek your bliss, and you kind of think, well, that's one of the things that's going to zone me out and have me in the higher states. And, I'm just going to sit on cloud nine and everything is going to fall into place around me, kind of thing. Radiance and enjoyment. But we tend to associate those with very active states of being. It's lovely, Deborah. There we go. When I asked for the spirit of joy to fill me, my heart was expanded. Okay, but you kind of see where I'm going with this. So what we end up doing is we end up very often seeing and seeking for that happiness. And we might find something that stimulates that pleasure center, that feeling within us, on a for a short period of time, so we get that immediate hit and that immediate high. And then, because of the way life is, and because we don't have necessarily that sustainable inner state, it falls back down, and we go out seeking the next thing that's going to give us another high, another hit that we think is what happiness actually is. What if joy and happiness was simply that internal expanded heart space where we could rest into with absolute contentment and acceptance of who we are? Can we find joy in those things that we may deem to be challenges in life? There's the big question. So Rachel said here, I'm always being told to live in joy, but I often think I'm unhappy because I can't find joy. Yes, that's exactly it. Because of the way that it has been defined. It's also the way that it's been defined. So it almost becomes something inaccessible because it is viewed as you needing to be in that happy, happy, smiley, smiley state all of the time. I read a very interesting book some time ago. It was called Smile or Die, about the way that the culture has actually been infiltrated with this program, that if you're not smiling, then there's something wrong with you. That you actually have to be smiling in order to be positive, in order for your life to actually work. And that's not the case. So so let's see. We've That makes a lot of sense by looking at it differently. It seems so much more attainable. Yes. Can you experience the contentment in your life no matter what is being presented to you? So joy is really about presence, about contentment. It's about that soul merge. Outer joy is dependent upon something outside of ourselves, and therefore we search for it, and it's not sustainable. That's absolutely it. The exhilarating state is not sustainable energetically. Thank you, Robin. That's brilliant. That's exactly the case. And that is what people tend to associate with what joy is. And we can have those moments of such ecstatic bliss and ecstasy, that are, incredibly joyful. When we're going through Kundalini awakenings, for instance, when spirit actually works with us, even when we go through that within our physical body, we experience these transcendental and most amazing states. And then the curve turns and it dips. So for every expansion and movement out there, there is a contraction. It is the way of the universe. Then we need a rest and we need to integrate. So there is the constant expansion and contraction, inflow and outflow of breath. And where the joy actually is in the maintenance of our presence through all of those states of being. So that is really what I wanted to bring you to, is that space of understanding. And you guys were getting that. That's home. That is home. You guys were getting that with the symbols. Well done. It's just really beautiful. So I hope that makes sense. We've got a few more comments here. It's those moments when things outside or are in turmoil, but all of a sudden I realize I have a feeling of joy and contentment despite all of that. Yes, Bonnie, thank you. I'm not someone who enjoys being sociable and partying. I often think that because I don't like fun, like some have, I don't know how to have fun, hence I can't find joy. And that, again, it depends on your definition of what is fun and what is joyful. Joy can really infuse our being in that presence when we are standing outside with a beautiful tree, when we catch the scent of an old vintage rose, when we um, sort of get a glimpse of the sunshine through the clouds and we see a rainbow. It's in that moment. Let it infuse your heart. You are in that state of presence and beingness. But that's absolutely it. Feeling the magic in essence. That's what it is. Okay? So, can you be in that state or space within you? Can you hold that presence? That is joy. It's the presence of your essence self. Susan said here, I don't know fun either. To me, fun is dance. Yes, it's brilliant. And in fact, we can experience that joy through movement, um, being happy in your own space. So Natalie says, well, now I have to say I'm joyful all the time. It's fabulous. Yes, there you go. Absolutely brilliant. So it's not always about the ha ha ha's and the laughter and all of that stuff. It really is about contentment and presence. So some lovely comments, some wonderful interactions coming in here. Thank you guys. Watch your baby getting an intense sense of joy over anything. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. What a beautiful comment. Yes. Over a tickle, over the wind blowing over the hairs on the arm, and that wonderful bodily reaction. Yeah. Move your body and just allow yourself to sway with it's again, we come back to that dancing with life. And that's where joy is, dancing with life. And I like this term, sort of seventh heaven. I thought, now isn't that interesting? Because when we've actually balanced every one of our seven main chakras down the core column, we actually have a beautiful flow of all of the colors that actually meld into pure light and the light of the diamond. And we actually establish that core column of the diamond. We establish the infrastructure. Um, and the place within that we can connect with that is home. And Rachel said, I like the word enjoy, as in enjoy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and here's a beautiful poster that I actually find. Oh, there, lovely. Rachel says I could see a white diamond around the cross symbol when we were focusing. Fantastic. My heart is where joy and sorrow dance, forever bound by the music of pain and love. And I love Khalil Gibran as well in this sense because he says your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And that's really what it is. Can you be joyful in your sorrow? Can you know that that joy is still there, knowing that it is just part of the eternal dance of life? We come back to that beautiful figure eight and the endless flow of energy. Can we actually put and envision and envisage that infinity code, keeping the energy flowing in our heart and helping to hold us in the center of that dance, and then allow our body to move. So if we find ourselves stuck in any one polarity, that's the overly energetic or the overly internalized, then we can begin to move our body and mimic the movement of that figure eight. Use your arms and your body. How did you guys go this week, by the way, with those exercises? How did you find it? Did you do any? Yes, well done. Rachel said, I think as old souls, we return constantly to joy after we've moved through difficult times. Yes, we're strong enough to move through it. Ultimately that resilience, it really is um, forging the resilience of our being. Yeah, the figure eight shifts the states. Well done. When I was doing the figure eight, my husband said, thank you. I could feel that and it felt good. How fantastic is that? Didn't get a chance to do too many, but thanks for the reminder. Because just as I'm sitting here talking to you now, I'm actually moving my body in that shape and moving my arms and creating that figure eight. So if ever you find yourself thinking, I don't feel joyful, or I feel stuck, or I feel unhappy, or whatever, just start that figure eight movement. get it flowing, and that will reconnect you with that center between the loops, the space within the heart that holds the ultimate joy in the center of that dance. And there you go, living with both and. There's your paradox, joy and sorrow. And there's a beautiful story. There's a guy called Francis Fuller, who's an author, who wrote a book called Entering the Healing Ground, which is just really, really beautiful. And it was a lot about dealing with grief. And there was a lot of research that he did among indigenous peoples around the world, both in Africa, a lot of them in Africa. And in fact, this story was from an African tribe. He went to visit them because there was a tribal ancestor that was holding a great deal of wisdom for the tribal group. And um, one of the women in the tribe, he noticed that every time he saw her, she was smiling, not necessarily bouncing off the walls, but she was smiling. And he actually said to her, it's just amazing. You guys, from a Westerner's perspective, actually have nothing. You know, you sort of live the most simple lives, and yet you are always smiling. How come is it that you are able to smile all the time? And this woman said, because I cry a lot. Because I cry a lot. And this was a huge lesson in how we have forgotten in the Western world to deal with our sorrow, to deal with our grief, to allow that energy to flow, and instead we suppress it, so we go out of balance. So beautiful, beautiful story, and a reminder for us of the fact that joy and sorrow go hand in hand, and it's our ability to hold and move between the both that enables our joy to be recognized and to flow. So Rachel said, whenever I finish a healing, I always go over the body 3 times with the infinity symbol to calm the energy field. Yes, I do too. It's just an absolute integral part of whatever healing I do, because it also maintains the flow of energy. So just, remember that, how come you smile so much? Because I cry such a lot. It's somebody who is absolutely in tune with the flow of energy through their being and allows it to be what it's going to be. So here's the thing, is a question for you. And I love this one too. Joy is God in the marrow of our bones. And I love that, because in the marrow of our bones is where the blood cells are actually produced. Um, and it's from that place that the blood cells and whatever is programmed into our beingness flows through our body along with the blood. So if we can have the divine, change the language, resident in the very marrow of our bones, the core of our being, then that flows like a river with our blood, with those blood cells through the entirety of our being. Um, So doesn't that feel beautiful? Just remember that. So I love that. So have a look, and here's some inner work that you may want to do, or just awarenesses that you may want to um, develop, become conscious of. Is what conditions do you place on being joyful? So if I can't go out and play, is that now a condition? I can't go out and play, and I don't like parties, therefore I can't be joyful. How vulnerable are you prepared to be? Because in that vulnerability is the letting down of all of the barriers that we've actually placed around our sorrow and the opposite pole and anything that we may need to release. And in the vulnerability is the softening of all of that and the reigniting or the reinitiation of the flow. How deeply through that vulnerability can you surrender to your own divine essence? How deeply are you willing to surrender to your own divine essence? In the very process of that surrender, we experience and reconnect with that joy. So just by knowing that we are God, we are joyful. Now, how wonderful is that? Because we can know and we can say that. We know that we are God. Is that an intellectual concept, or is that something that you really feel? When we truly know it, We know it in the hearts of our being, and we can extend that. And I know that I am God. I know that I'm an outpouring and a manifestation of divine source. I know that I'm actually made from the stuff of the stars, from the same stuff from which the universe is actually made. So if I am God and I know that, then I know that I am joyful. And how different does that feel in your body when you can say that with with absolute conviction? So you don't need anything external to stimulate it. You don't need any set of circumstances. You don't need anything to be able to manifest that state of being. So we got people's words were so powerful during growing up. Being told that you're a thing makes you believe it. Absolutely. Yes, all of those programs, all of those programs. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you guys are you beginning to feel? Are you feeling that? Because as old souls, I think there again we have those lifetimes of conditions that have been placed on us, and the patterning that has been instilled and installed within our matrix of being, getting used to trusting the feeling of knowing. Natalie says instead of the knowing from the stories and the conditions. Beautiful. Well said, Natalie. And Laurie says here, absolutely feeling it. Now that is beautiful. Oh, Rachel, love it. I was told in May when I was writing that life, Life, equals love in full expression. Oh, wonderful, Robin. She says, my middle name is Joy. Never got it until now. So anybody who's got a wonderful, it's a three-letter acronym. If you can think of an extension or expansion of the word joy as something that it would represent, then yeah, give us a heads up. We can actually share those because it becomes something that's easy to remember. Okay. I keep thinking there's something of you with a J. There's something of you, the jubilance of you. Or, yeah, so if you guys come up with anything, then let's go for it because we can use it. Is that what you were thinking, Rachel? Yeah, the jubilance of you. The jewel of you, aka diamond. How's that one? The jewel of you. That is joy. Work with it. Play with it, guys, and come up with yours that you actually resonate with because that will really support. Okay, so what I've got also, and I'm going to give you guys this little light code transmission. So we're going to do this now. It is a waking transmission, so we can continue with this from the brain balancing exercise. It's quite okay to do this because it's visual. And then a little bit later on, we're going to do an actual meditative process too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the headphone microphone so that you can hear the sound on this. Well, I hope you can anyway. And I'm just, oh, maybe I don't need to do that. Hold on. If I just change this. Sound should be back on okay. Did you enjoy that? I'm going to send you that is available on YouTube, but I'm going to send you the downloadable version so that you can keep that handy. It just is, it's like a little 3-minute fix, an energy fix when you feel yourself perhaps dropping in density, dropping in vibration. I'm not sure if you shared that one in the Old Souls group, Laurie, Rachel, but I will put it up on the website so that you guys can access it after this session. It helps to just support that surrender, that heart expansion, that softening of everything that gets the energy flowing again. And that is the beauty of the light codes. And it's what's really lovely for me is to go through that again. Ah, that's wonderful. Nappy says, I've been seeing the angel code since we started this group. So cool to see it here. Love, love. Wonderful, Natalie. Um, yeah, for me to go back to one of these original transmissions that I did, that was in 2011 that I put that together. So many years ago, it kind of says, I think I actually need to create some more. So we've got some lovely comments coming in here. Bunny says, oh my goodness, that was stunningly beautiful. I felt such joy and had a few tears of joy. I felt it open my heart. Yeah, I was feeling very emotional. Also, I could feel it softening. Mariah says, I can tell you that I needed to make a shift, and I immediately went to release, resolve, and insight, and then drank water that I infused with the symbols, and I could more easily make a shift. Wonderful, 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 you guys. Really stunning. Oh, joyful old you. Yeah, that's an old soul acronym for joy. Joyful old you. Oh, that's lovely. Fantastic. With the angel code, Susan says, I felt happiness and laughter. And that's the thing about these codes. They will trigger within you, and that is the next process that we're going to do. They will actually trigger within you what you need in order to shift into that state of fullness of presence and joy. So the light codes will do that because they will unlock whatever it is within you that is preventing you from accessing that state. When you are in that state, how do you feel after that little transmission? How do you guys feel about yourselves right now? Because we have this old souls and, I don't really think I've got any value. I want to ask you how you feel about you right now, not just because you're here with the group, just these little exercises. Yeah, Rachel says, I love the light codes, use them with my group. So Susan says, I feel content, brilliant, accepting with lots of value, and I can do anything. Love, peace, more accepting. That is where we are asked to be. That is fantastic. Well done, guys. My heart feels warm. That is beautiful, sovereign, because that is who we are. That's where our value is in our heart. When we're in that space, truly centered within that space, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. That's when we realize how attached we have perhaps been to what others think about us, our fear of being seen out there in the world. That's when we perhaps realize how many conditions we've placed upon ourselves and how we express ourselves. What fear we have actually had around taking our unique self out there. It feels safe to say this because we're sharing this together. Yes. And but it's important to carry that sense of safety because it's like we've got your back. Okay, you come back to the group, we've got your back. And you've got this group that stands firm and holds you in that space. Now, how's that for a visualization? When you take yourself out there. So you keep your light code transmission handy and you use that whenever you need that little bit of alignment and then you reconnect with this group. Yeah. Some lovely comments coming in. You guys are doing wonderfully. See, it's a very different final session. Robin says, I'm feeling like I can walk with my head high. And that's where we wanted to get to because that is who we are. How beautiful is that? Thank you. Me too. I'm just so pleased because I can't wait to meet all you guys. I think that's fantastic. Go out there with your head held high and be your fearsome, fearless, wonderful old souls. Share who you are with the world. Being in the world, but not of it. We are walking lighthouses. See us. Yes. This work amplifies who we truly are. And that is the beauty. And I think that's the gift in doing the energetic alignments in all of these different ways, because that's exactly what it does. It's not just words. We can use the words and we can feel the energy and we can amplify that core of who we are. Love you guys. It's wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let me get this next slide out. Okay, so where we're going to go to with the next bit of this is to the sacred white animals. Okay. And some of you I know will be familiar. Who here has actually participated in some of the webcasts? I like that, Rachel. No more apologizing for being powerful. Yeah. Who here has participated in some of the webcasts where we have worked with the sacred white animals? Rachel, I know that you have. Natalie has. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Okay, right, guys. So you were with us for the gap day. Okay, so let's put this into perspective. Um, the around the world, you guys probably know about the ancient prophecies of the white buffalo. Mariah says, in the balancing exercise, I was joined with the celestial family at home. They gave big hugs. Oh, it's beautiful. The harp music played when the triangle came. I saw a circle of gold bricks with foundational words: truth, joy, acceptance. It was our group working collectively and reflecting back to the group joy, love, and acceptance. Wonderful. Thank you, Laurie. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's the gift that all of you actually have in respect of sharing. Yeah, you can feel that. And the white animals are actually here to support that. All of this is part and parcel of our evolution. It's part of our journey. They are here to support our growth. So some of you may recognize the key sacred white animal prophecy that most people are familiar with is the Native American one about white buffalo calf woman. And the prophecy, it's a sort of mythological story that indicated that there would be a sacred white buffalo calf that was born that would indicate that there were major changes taking place upon the planet, and that the first white buffalo calf was actually born in the US in 1994. So since then, actually before then, what is really beautiful in South Africa, which very few people actually were perhaps familiar with, there was a similar mythology amongst the indigenous people that foretold of the return of the white lions to their sacred homeland of what is known as Timbavati, and their sacred homeland lies on the Zep-Tepi Zero meridian, that the white lion are actually the embodiment of the first time of the energies of the first time, and that their return would signal a return to that state of being, that they would also herald great changes upon the planet. And it was thought that because of hunting and trophy hunting in Africa, a lot of white lion were actually hunted originally back in the sort of 1800s and the early 1900s. And in fact, no white lion had been seen in the wild for, I think, close on 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. I could be sort of corrected on that figure, but it was a long time. It was felt that they were extinct. And in 1975, and I remember because I was at school and I had the most amazing biology teacher. I was at school in South Africa. And to our biology teacher, everything was just amazing. It was absolutely fascinating. Everything was a miracle in respect of life and biology and nature. And there were the first sacred white lion or white lion cubs that had been born 1975, 1976, back in their homeland. They had reappeared. So there is something very special about the nature of these animals. They are often referred to as albino, where they are not albino. Albinos, actually, albino animals, so it's those with like pale pink skin and sort of white fur and what have you, they tend to have pink eyes. The same as you would often see with albino individuals, those that you call albino. These particular animals have a different mutation. It is a different genetic mutation, and it's called leucism. So the sacred white lions demonstrate that trait, that genetic trait. They are born often with, or they display blue or green eyes. You see the most amazing sights, as you can see here with some of these animals. The otter has normal colored eyes. This is a white otter. The white whale, Mugalu, has appeared off the Australian coast and has been revered now for a number of years and forms part of the Australian mythology. We're getting white dolphins being found. This is a white gemsbok, which is now being bred in South Africa. So these animals are appearing and their qualities are now being revered. And these sacred white animals actually extend across all species. We now see white kangaroos, white hummingbirds. Look at this beautiful hummingbird. The white peacock has been around for some time, just incredibly beautiful. The white giraffe, there you've got a normal colored giraffe, and here you've got a white giraffe. This is it's called a diamond white alligator because you can actually see the diamond scales on his skin. And this is a raven. Now, ravens are normally black, most unusual raven with blue eyes. So these genetic mutations have been appearing more and more through the entire animal kingdom since the white lion appeared sort of 75, 76. The white buffalo appeared in 94, and it's really been since the late 90s that all of the rest of the species have been birthing these white creatures, these with leucistic mutation. They are evidence that there are radical changes actually taking place upon the planet. So that's the first thing. The other thing is you look at them and they are absolutely magnificent. They stand out from the rest of their species because they have no camouflage and they are not rejected. Yes, that's interesting, Rachel. Very, very interesting. They are not. I think now and again you might find one or two of them that is actually rejected by their troop. I think there's little white monkeys, there's little white gorillas. In fact, there were photos taken 2 years ago. There was a little white vervet monkey who quite happily played with the rest of the troop. Now and again, you'll find one or other of them that seems to be isolated, but more and more they are accepted and they are also being revered by humans. So they come in with some very, very valuable messages for humanity. Times are changing. Here we have some information from a Native American elder, Chief Arval Looking Horse. You guys may have heard of him. He's actually very well known and really has a lot to say and publishes a lot of wisdom teachings in a sense. He's traditional leader of the Lakota clan of the Sioux Nation, a 19th generation keeper of the white buffalo calf bundle. So, in his words, the appearance of these white animals heralds a time of great urgency for the earth and humanity as a whole. It is said that the appearance of such unusually colored animals is a sign. It is an omen calling for us to unite as a people, to walk as one, to see past the color of our neighbor's skin or the ancestry of their people, and to come together and embrace them as brothers, sisters, and all related children of the Earth Mother. Now that may sound, you kind of go, yeah, I understand that. I kind of do get that. Um, But I wanted to actually take that just a little step further because there is this sense of urgency in the language that's being used. There is also absolutely in alignment with the appearance or the availability on the planet of the Mayan eighth wave and ninth wave, which is helping to shift our consciousness. And it's not about being white skinned in respect of how some people may perceive this. It is about the white, the merging of the colors of the rainbow into the pure white light of transparency and of the divine. That is the true meaning and the true message of the sacred white animals. So that is about the oneness. It is the merging of all of the colors in the rainbow to actually make the pure white light of divine source, to merge back into the oneness of divine source. These sacred white animals, another way of actually describing their qualities, the attributes that they bring, that they are also the higher self embodiment of the animal kingdom. They hold the blueprints and the evolutionary codes in physical form, thereby anchoring greater light through their embodiment, their physicalness. They are supporting us with our own evolution. So they are part of the overarching field that is being impacted by the ever increasing frequencies of what some would call ascension. Why they are actually so relevant and where it becomes interesting in respect of us and our old soul work is they act as guides, they act as reminders of what we are capable of in the highest sense. That they bring in some powerful high frequency, high vibrational messages in the same way that we would connect with the totem animals in the earthly realm as guides for our earthly living. The sacred white animals come in with the higher blueprints and the elevated spiritual matters in order to live that beingness through our physicalness on the planet because that is what they are doing. So they teach us that they stand out and they are different to the rest of their groups, and yet they are not rejected. So where is our fear of rejection actually coming in? So they represent aspects of ourselves, like the Deborah said. Bring on the white elephants. Yeah, they're there too. Never mind the pink elephants in the room. Yeah, let's call on the white elephants. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like they hold open the doors into the field as guardians and guides. And while we recognize, as mentioned in one of the earlier sessions, that all of the guides that we may connect with as external manifestations are actually facets or aspects of ourselves. In the same way, so are the sacred white animals. That they often bring us aspects or reminders of aspects of ourselves that we have been closed to or that we are unconscious to. So they serve a purpose in respect of helping us to reconnect with everything that we are. How does that sound? So Rachel says we have to step up now and take our expansion seriously. Yes, no more waiting for others to tell us what we can do. We already know it. We do too. And this is the time. We're moving into a very, very powerful time this year, folks, as well. As we sort of move into August and the 8-8 Lions Gate, a very fiery time that is fueling literally igniting, as we mentioned earlier, igniting and fueling our growth and our stepping out there. It's time. And we can call on the support. Yeah, we are the ones we've been waiting for. So we can call on the support of these sacred white animals. And it's not that there is only one guide, that you have a totem animal for life amongst the sacred white animals. That these are beautiful manifestations, and we can call on the collective group of the sacred white animal beings in order to access, harness, or make conscious whatever it is within us that we need to be aware and cognizant of at this particular moment in time. So it is about our continued connection. Mariah says that's why I think our continued connection in this collective is special. Yes, our continued connection. Yeah, in this Old Souls group. Yeah, and we are supporting each other through this process. So we are recognizing and acknowledging each other's wisdom. We are supporting each other with that strength, even as we go out there and stand as a sacred white animal figure, as this figure, this beacon, this lighthouse amongst and in the darkness of the masses that are unconscious. So we know that we've got the strength. So it's as we build and recognize our sovereignty. So this is another aspect of our recognition of that. So does that make sense, guys? So the sacred white animals hold the blueprints and the evolutionary codes for the animal kingdom and for us. Doorway. Susan, beautiful. Yeah, she says, I see the white animals as a doorway to speak to something greater. Yes, absolutely. You can view them as that because each one that we work with does actually open up another doorway within us, a doorway into the fullness of our consciousness. So, here's some interesting facts as well. Some of you may or may not be aware of. Is that we think about all of the genetic codes, sort of the nucleotide bases that make up the DNA of a human being. There is only 0.5% variation in the makeup of the genome right across the human race. So we are 99.5% similar to every single other human being. Chimpanzees are 96 to 98% similar to humans, so their DNA genetic code is 96% aligned with ours and similar to ours. How's this fact about cats? Cats have 90% homologous genes with humans. Okay, really interesting. Cats. Cats also have 82% homologous genes with dogs, 80% with cows, 79% with chimps, 69% with rats, and 67% with mice. So how's this degree of connectivity and connection through the genetic makeup? Yeah, Deborah Katz rule. Yeah, there we go. That's the lions. There we go. Very, very interesting. The white lion, the cats in Egypt, and the fact that cats were actually worshipped. Cows are 80% genetically similar to humans. 75% mouse genes have equivalents in humans. 90% of the mouse genome could be lined up with a region on the human genome, and 99% of mouse genes turn out to have analogs in humans. They're very similar sort of genes that do very similar things in both the mouse and the human. Very interesting that they actually do often use mice for laboratory testing, mice and chimps, and I can't bear the thought of it, but very interesting from a genetic point of view when we can see those similarities. But how's this? Even the little humble fruit fly, the tiny, tiny common fruit fly, shares about 60% of its DNA with humans, and 60% of the chicken genes correspond to a similar human gene. So there are ripples and threads that run throughout the natural world. There is even a high degree of commonality in the genes. I actually haven't pulled out the figures and numbers, but a high degree of commonality between humans and starfish, humans and trees, humans and plants and flowers, etc., etc. So yes, there you have. You can almost think of it as each species has its own little morphogenetic bubble, okay, that really helps to provide, or it provides the electromagnetic information that helps to build the DNA for each particular species. So humans have a morphogenetic field, cats have a morphogenetic field, dogs have one, foxes do. So you have all of these little morphogenetic fields, but all of those morphogenetic fields for each species are embedded within a greater morphogenic field that is the field of the earth. So there are threads that actually run through every single of the species and interconnect us with all of those. So if you can imagine that you have this morphogenic field, which is that of the Earth, when there are influxes of cosmic energy that impacts on the way that information is transcribed and interpreted within the morphogenic field, that is then passed down into the morphogenetic fields of each species. And what then happens is that any of those minor changes begin to manifest within the species, which is where the appearance of the sacred white animals comes in. And that is part and parcel of the awakened souls that we are seeing in the human race. So it is ever expanding because more and more and more we're seeing these sacred white animals across all of the species. So it's accelerating. So we can look at that and we can know and fully understand that we are also accelerating in that evolutionary journey. So we can connect with these beautiful sacred white animals in respect of harnessing some of that new information that is being seeded into the morphogenic field. So Rachel said, this is what I found amazing with the waves of creation. What was that, Rachel? The I know the 9 waves of creation, but which specific bit are you referring to there? Sorry, Rachel's just typing. I was just waiting for that. Okay, so in the meantime, how a wave creates something across the planet, even when it's seemingly not connected. Yes, thank you for that. Because that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Is that wave influences the general field, and you may like to think about that general field as being, we can think of it as a bubble, and in turn, we can also think about it as the diamond grid, the ultimate diamond grid. And the higher frequencies infusing the global grid, and then you come back down at the individual level, and you have an aspect of the grid embedded within the greater grid that is translating those codes for that specific species. So isn't that just a beautiful way of understanding? Yeah, and that's how evolution actually takes place. It's like the momentum builds and builds and builds until those new codes become part and parcel of the morphogenetic information field for that species, and all of the animals or all of the species within that field suddenly shift and evolve. So it's like a quantum leap, a quantum uh, shift in their appearance, in their manifestation. And that is why often you'll find that certain species disappear, why you don't have missing links. And that is what humanity is doing now. So you can kind of see also how important your role is in being able to embody that when you use information and look at the bigger picture. So we've got support from many different levels. And I just thought I'd throw this in for you for a bit of a smile because we mustn't lose our sense of humor. There are a large number of genes which are shared between humans and bananas. They encode a functionally equivalent molecule and share a common ancestral gene in the common ancestor of bananas and humans. There actually are, because in fact, sort of the sugar metabolism cycle tends to be pretty consistent across all life forms, whether it's sentient or not. But I love the statement, large number of genes shared between humans and bananas. Jefferson must be those common monkey genes. Oh dear, yes. So it also gives a new meaning to that when you say to someone, you're a right nana. Yeah. Then we've got some lovely comments as well. There will be a humanity of white light. Yes. And that's why we go bananas sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. You can have a bit of fun with that. But I mean, yeah, so we even share. I think it's actually stated on the internet that something like 50% of our genes are shared with bananas, but that's a false, that's a fake figure actually. However, there are a large number of genes that are shared between humans and bananas. So even in the fruit that we eat, they're embodying this wave, this new energy, this new frequency. So you guys kind of get the whole process, and you're still feeling joyful. You are what you eat. Yep. Yeah, there you go. So what I wanted to do is to now, we've had a bit of a gap between doing the brain balancing because you guys know sort of no other meditation within half an hour of doing the balancing, but we're quite fine now time-wise. Is I want to take you on a journey to connect with the sacred white animals, bearing in mind that we've also just done that diamond light code transmission. So this is another aspect of support in receiving the information that is relevant and pertinent to you from whichever sacred white animal appears for you, and assisting in whichever the recognition and the release or dissolving of whatever barriers you may have to fully experiencing joy, that the sacred white animal will actually assist you with, knowing that they actually have DNA encodings, whichever one presents to you, they will have DNA encodings which are relevant to your particular request being at this moment. And as you shift and change, then different sacred white animals will become more prominent or more associative, if you like, through the journey. So, how does that sound, guys? That is going to be our final process for this stage of the journey. Yes, okay, brilliant. Okay, guys, so make sure that you are sitting comfortably. And I haven't put any pictures up on this final slide either because I don't want you to also be distracted or to be drawn to something and have preconceived ideas about what you think you need at the moment. So we're just going to allow them to present to you. Okay. So make sure that you're comfortable and gently close your eyes as you begin to breathe deeply in and out, acknowledging with a smile on your face the beauty of the old soul that you are, the magnificence of all that you have learned, carried, and integrated into the genetic composition and the soul matrix of your being through lifetime, bringing all to this moment in time and space. Allow yourself as you breathe now deeply in and out to honor that journey, your unique journey, the beauty of your journey, the gift that you are to the world. Breathe in deeply. Breathe in the acknowledgement of the beauty and the love, and allow yourself to create around you your beautiful octahedral field of diamond light, anchored at the base of your spine, reaching up towards your soul star, down towards your earth star, balanced and poised, aligned down the center, and held in that perfectly balanced position. Expand your breathing so that your diamond breathes with you. As you continue breathing in and out, and you gaze around with your inner vision and your inner eye at the amazing lights that are flashing off the facets of your diamond. And you look out into the grander planetary field and you see flashing lights, lighthouses all around the planet, marveling at their beauty, at the unique composition of colors and lights that make up their being. And you honor their presence, all that they have brought into this lifetime, the entirety of their soul learning, the essence of their divine truth and trueness, blinking on and off like jewels across the landscape. In their beauty, you recognize your own. Wow, what a sight. And immersed within the planetary grid, you become aware of other brilliant jewels of light. Diamonds holding within them the blueprints and forms of sacred white animals, holding the higher essence and energies of each of these species around the planet. Lights being switched on within the great, like stars in the sky. Each of these animals suddenly makes themselves visible to you within the greater field of life. And it's a veritable arc of life forms, from the smallest of creatures to the largest of mammals, birds, land mammals, aquatic creatures, creatures of the air, the sea, the sand, the earth, scattered around the four corners of the four directions of the planet. A living arc of the divine. And as you stand within your own diamond, holding your position upon the earth as an old soul, you send forth an intention into the greater grids to connect with a sacred white animal that holds at this moment encodings for you that will assist you in holding a permanent connection to the joy that is your divine state of being, the joy that represents your home within your physical body, the joy that represents your divine essence. Send forth the call into the ark and simply allow whichever animal is required for you at this moment to move through the grids, the eternal grids, and present itself to you. Just watch for the moment. Don't judge. Doesn't matter which animal presents, it is relevant for you right now. And they appear next to you in their own diamond matrix of light, and their matrix connects with yours. And in the instant of that connection, there is an initial transfer of information, an initial communication from this animal, an initial bond that is created with them. Allow yourself to connect with the message that the sacred white animal has for you at this moment, whatever information is communicated. Open your being to receive the impulses. Even if you don't hear the message in words, allow your body to feel, to sense, to hear, to see in whichever way is relevant for you. And once you have the initial message, then the form of the sacred white animal that is yours for this moment in time here to share with you begins to dissolve within their diamond like swirling flashes of light. For their higher blueprints and their higher form allow them to move in and out of form much more easily. That is the evolved human blueprint, the ability to transcend the human physicalness, to mold and create and adjust the evidence or manifestation of their physicalness or beingness. So the sacred white animal form dissolves into swirls, spirals, and codes of light within their diamond. For each one of these swirls and codes represents an aspect of their genetic makeup, and there is an aspect of their genetic code that is to be shared with you right now. Whether that will boost and amplify your own ability to connect and be in joy, or whether it is to dissolve a barrier that prevents you from accessing joy, whatever is needed right now. You see within the diamond in front of you hints and shapes of spiraling DNA strands. Colors, codes, geometries, and what forms from these swirling, moving, constantly changing and shifting energies of their internal landscape is a specific encoded geometry formed from their DNA totality, from their DNA blueprint, an extraction of the qualities that they bring, the higher qualities that they bring to the kingdoms of life that they share now with you. And that package of information, that special code that they offer you from the very depth and heart of their being, they pass through the diamond, through the connection, into your space, where your physical form begins to dissolve, shimmering as it does, loosening all the bonds. And the pattern, the code that is being delivered, makes its way into the very heart, the depth of your being, into your own DNA. Just be aware of what happens as this new code is inserted into your own genetic makeup. For this is an enhancement, a gift from the sacred realm of divine manifestation. And as this gift is embedded within your DNA, whatever is displayed is simply transmuted by the vibrant light of this beautiful sacred white being. And your essence and energy and physicalness is charged up, amplifying. The extent of your presence is strengthened within you. The depth of your joy is realized within you. The center of contentment is expanded within you. And your entire being surrenders more deeply to the process and to the truth of who you are. In gratitude, thank the sacred white animal for its gift and its sharing today. And you watch as it reassembles its form, drawing from the universal fields whatever energies and frequencies are required to replace its gifted code, and its form reassembles into a whole, beautiful white being that gazes at you, flashing through the lenses of the diamond, piercing into your eyes, And you acknowledge the message that is given, that is an honoring of who you are, that is an honoring of its ability to assist and support you in this way right now. It is an honoring that sees the totality of your presence. And you, in turn, see the beauty and the majestic nature of this beautiful creature as a reflection of you, of the divine. And you rest into total gratitude at the amazing nature of your life, of these connections, of your power and your joy. And with a mutual exchange of gratitude, the sacred white animal leaves your space to return to the group arc. And you look around at the lights and the colors within your diamond grid, and you notice colors that weren't there before. Colors that have emerged as a consequence of the recoding that is taking place within your field. Colors that represent the manifestation of joy through the physical nature of your body, your presence. And you smile at the simplicity and magic of it all, at how easy and simple it really is. The ease with which you are able to access these sacred aspects. And you send forth that joy to all of the other diamonds that you see sparkling across the grid, also displaying yet more of the true colors of who they are. And the vibrancy of the joy and the laughter is energized through the interconnected vortices and through the grid that creates the morphogenetic field for the human species, as each of you with the new codes that have been inserted allows this to become embedded as a reality and as a blueprint for the rest of humanity to access when they are ready. Shine bright and shine those codes into the greater matrix, to the greater diamond matrix. And with a lightness and contentment and a joy from deep inside, you take a deep breath in, anchored and present. And as you breathe out, long, slow sigh, you return once more to waking consciousness. Feel your fingers, feel your toes. Be aware of the emotional stirring within you. of your presence as you rejoin this higher manifestation in the 3D world. Welcome back. How are you doing? Mm. So, what animals? So, Natalie says that was really emotional for me. And it can be, depending on what is needed. And so, that's a beautiful process that I will extract for you that you guys can return to and to utilize as often as you wish. So, you have a number of tools that will help you energetically to restore that connection. Very powerful tears of joy and gratitude. Oh, beautiful, Deborah. Thank you. White frog. Wow, was so beautiful. How many of you actually were presented with a life form that was completely different to what you may have anticipated? Because that's often what happens with us. I kept seeing a beautiful, huge white spider. Ah, Rachel says I got bumped off in the middle, but I saw a white animal straight away. I saw somebody had actually disappeared, but I was just so in the process I didn't go look to see who it was. Oh, Mariah, white ant, peacock, and lion. Wow, that's powerful. And did you recognize white color? We got a white dolphin in colors of pink or aquamarine. Beautiful. Wow. White peacock gave me a red rose. White bear gave me a huge diamond. White lion asked me to ride on his back. Oh, wow. And when I got on his back, I turned white as well. Wow, you people had some wonderful journeys. I got pink and aquamarine too. Beautiful. Well, of course, those are both really, really powerful colors of the heart. And aquamarine is really about liberation and freedom and this new energy. So some very meaningful colors and experiences there, guys. We've got white lion, and then the white eagle came in. Beautiful. Gifted with a visit from a white black bear. Yeah, I get that. It's like a white black raven, you know. Beautiful. So a lot of you had white lion, strength, power, and confidence. White raven flew around spreading joy. Oh, you ladies, you guys had wonderful experiences here. Wow, and there's another one, aquamarine and purple. Very, very interesting. Okay, so a lot of aquamarine there, and of course, purple is healing. Aquamarine's a very light, very much a new energy color. It's part of the new energy frequencies. So that is fascinating that you guys had a common experience of that. Really beautiful. Well done. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I will extract it for you. You will also have joy transmission. And from here on, may you find it easier and easier to restore that joy in your lives very quickly, that you're able to shift back into that frequency state from which your strength and your entire presence is actually derived. To that love. And I want to thank you for being on this journey with me. So we've got this. Oh my goodness. So it's just another little ad. I got a Jaguar Gwyn. I can't pronounce that, Rachel. White Jaguar. I was told the Welsh name first. Wow. Told that I had to step into my power, no more having to prove myself, and then got a beautiful pea green color. That's amazing. That is amazing. That white jaguar is just also a beautiful, beautiful animal. Very, very strong, very powerful feminine essence, which is also green, associated with the color green. Some beautiful journeys there, guys. I hope that really helps to support you. And let's continue the interaction with the Old Soul group. I will send out an email. If any of you haven't actually signed up on the web page yet, please do, so that at least we can maintain contact. And then we've got another comment, which is I felt the energy strongly in my sacral area. Ah, yes, of course. And of course, sacral navel is the location of that energy of joy. Feeling magical. Red page. No, on the web of the web page, Susan, not the red page. Thought red page. No, on the web page where the videos are hosted. There is also a request so that I can get hold of you via the email program and not just on Facebook, because not everybody is on Facebook, so we're not all connected on there. So that's really what that one was about. So once more, I really thank you for being such a beautiful, magical part of this whole journey. I really thank you for the gifts that you bring to thank you for your uniqueness as old souls and for what you are all doing, sharing, being in your communities that is helping to uplift the planet. Because even when you don't think you're doing anything, you actually are. Uh, Thank you all, let's see, for sharing your light and showing me, allowing me to shine mine. Beautiful. Thank you. I honor all of you. Thank you as always. Yes, to you guys, to the entire Old Souls community, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, from the center of my diamond, thank you. Thank you for hearing the call. Thank you for being here. The journey is not yet over. This is really the beginning of a whole new journey, and watch out for the fire and the ignition over the next couple of weeks. Susan said, yeah, thank you. This is wonderful. I love my new tribe. Thank you. My heart is full. That's from Laurie. And my heart is full too. Deborah, I love that. Deborah, can I just say something? Deborah said, the future's so bright, I had to put on my shades. Do you know, I must just tell you, I did a remote session for a client the other day, and an animal presented during the session, which was so surprising, and it was a chipmunk, which represents fun and play, but this chipmunk was wearing sunglasses. And the message was so clearly given, literally for the client, was the future's so bright, I've got to wear shades. And it was just so fun. It was just such a fun image and a beautiful way to actually connect with this lovely client. So her future's also looking really, really powerful. So thank you for all being here. Expand your hearts, keep on going, don't stop, be the diamonds, hold the images and use the processes, be in your joy and your love um, every day more and more. And thank you all so, so much. I'll get the recording up ASAP so that you can reuse and reuse. And yeah, keep on going with the brain balancing, guys. Don't give up. The more you do it, the more expansive everything actually becomes, the more expansive, peaceful your life becomes, and the more accepting you become. So sometimes it can take 2 weeks, sometimes it can take 2 months. Just keep on going and don't give up. It is more powerful than three. So keep on going to the 5 minutes now. Yeah. Love you all. And here's to the next opportunity that we have to get together. So heartfelt thanks. Bye. Lots of love. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, night, further, wherever you are.